lot of things, as I said, a lot of things that we need to talk about, a lot of things to unpack here.
Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows.
Your man Dami K in here, and we're talking about the Supreme Court, and they have expanded gun rights. What up, Bob? I need to holler at you, Bob, too. Definitely hit me up so we can get your show popping. So we have the nation divided, right? And in the midst of all that, Supreme Court has expanded gun rights. They have expanded gun rights. So, we've had obviously a series of mass shootings. And the Supreme Court says yesterday, even after the series of mass shootings that we have experienced, Americans have the right to carry firearms in public places for self-defense, a ruling that is going to more than likely lead to more people being armed. So some people think this is a good thing. Some people think this is a bad thing. I'm conflicted on it because the thing is that it is written that we have the right to bear arms. Now, some states have easier gun laws than others. So the decision comes out as Congress and states are debating gun control legislation. They're debating this right now. So the timing of this, the timing is impeccable. About 1/4 of the United States lives in a state that is going to be affected by this ruling. So what happened? This ruling struck down a New York gun law. We often talk about New York and their gun laws. New York has very strict gun laws. Depending on where you live, your state's gun laws may be like New York's. Maryland's is very similar to New York's. Maryland's gun laws are very similar, not as strict, but very similar. So as I said, 1/4 of the U.S. population lives in a state that is going to be affected by this ruling. This ruling struck down New York's gun laws. The High Court, their first major gun decision in more than 10 years, was split 6-3, with the conservatives in the majority and the more liberal judges in the dissent, meaning that they lost, right? So across the street, basically from the court, lawmakers in the Capitol were trying to get a passage of some gun legislation, which obviously was prompted by these recent massacres, ironically in New York, California, and Texas. So senators have cleared the way for the measure. Very, very modest. It's not anything big that they're trying to do, because a lot of folks don't want you messing with their guns and their rights, right? But it's still far-reaching. So yesterday, as the nation is divided over the issue of guns, the sister of a 9-year-old girl killed in the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, pleaded with state lawmakers to pass gun legislation. So oftentimes, here's what happens. We have a mass shooting, and then after that, in the wake of the mass shooting, there is a push for some type of gun legislation because, regular people that look and see this, see massacres, say, what could we have done? Could we have done something different to prevent that person, that killer, that murderer from having the gun? So then they say, let's try to strengthen the laws to try to prevent that. That is usually what the demonstration is. That's usually what happens. Then nothing gets done, and so it continues. And so the Republican-controlled legislature stripped away gun restrictions over the past decade. Right? Doesn't matter. The Republicans say it doesn't matter. It's in the Constitution. They got the right to carry a gun. It is what it is. Right? Biden said that he was deeply disappointed in the Supreme Court ruling. Biden obviously on very, very shaky grounds. right? Most time people running for office don't even want Biden coming through because Biden, like, ooh, Biden, bad news. He's a bad look. He's bad luck, all that kind of stuff. But what is happening now is Republicans, in their haste to put the mash down on things that they've been trying to do, gun legislation. In the next segment, we're going to talk about abortion. They've been putting these things into motion that they've been trying to do for years. What Republicans don't realize that they're doing, it could actually backfire because they are giving Democrats points to energize their bases. We're going to talk about abortion, like I said, in the next segment. But you take away abortion, you grant you strip away New York's gun laws or some of their restrictions, and you give liberals something that they can believe in. You give the liberals something they can focus in, and this is something that's going to bring them to the polls. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that the corners, people going in their respective corners, the divisiveness of these issues is clear and evident, and we are in for a big, big fight. Keith Warren on Facebook says, our Second Amendment should not be restricted whatsoever. I am an advocate for the Second Amendment. I had to go through so much stuff to get my wear and carry permit here in Maryland. So he's talking about that, and you definitely had to go through a lot to get that permit in Maryland. I know what you had to go through, and you had to go through a lot. And if you have if you have your permit to carry in Maryland, you went through a whole lot. You went through a whole lot. And I believe in the Second Amendment as well. I believe that folks should be able to safely own a weapon and all of that. And so my only thing is, I don't believe that 18-year-olds should have the rights of a 21-year-old, right? So I think that is what I'm looking at. What's going on, Bronx, New York? Shout out to y'all. And I know Bronx, New York is probably going crazy right now because you have so many states that are going to start challenging this gun ruling. So the president's deeply disappointed. I'm deeply disappointed in President Biden. So, I mean, he doesn't even need to even speak on it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mike Even, very talented artist, Mike Even. Make sure y'all check him out on all streaming services. This gentleman has a lot of quality hip hop music. That's something that you don't hear all the time. Quality hip hop music. And Kenneth Warren is talking about, just how much stuff he had to go through to get that permit. And like I said, I know what you went through. Believe me, I know what you went through. Crazy. And you like, okay, I went through everything I need to go through, and I should be able to have my gun. I feel you on that. So, the president says that he calls on Americans across the country to make their voices heard on gun safety. Lives are on the line. So the president and people that think like him feel that there should be more restrictions on folks that can have guns and what you have to do to get a gun. And some folks, so both things can be true at the same time. You can want a little bit more restrictions because a responsible gun owner understands and doesn't have a problem with, some normal stuff, right? Especially like Kenneth, you had to go through a lot here in Maryland to get your permit to carry your weapon, right? So don't you think that others should have to go through the same thing that you had to go through? Do you think some 18-year-old should just be able to get a gun just free willy-nilly like it ain't nothing? Like it's like he getting a bike out the store? No, you had to go through it, right? Kenneth Warren on Facebook says that the gun laws now don't affect criminals. It's us law-abiding citizens that will always get the short end of the stick. Now, when you say short end of the stick, what do you mean? Okay, because when you go to most airports, it doesn't happen like this when I'm flying from Atlanta. But when you're flying to Atlanta, say I'm flying to Atlanta from Baltimore, they take me through this. I got to take my shoes off. I got to take all my laptops out of the bag. And why do I have to do that? because of what happened at September 11th. Am I saying, oh my God, I can't believe this just because they did that? Well, I got to do this. No, you go with whatever the security is. Now, when you're coming from Atlanta, Atlanta has more security than BWI does. They got the dogs, they got some other stuff, right? So you don't have to take your shoes off when you're flying from Atlanta. I think that you got, more security, and they can, smell you with the dogs and all that kind of stuff. But it is safety stuff. And, is it time for us to modernize some of these things? Yes, I believe that. Everything written from the 1700s does not just, plainly go without updates. There weren't airplanes then, right? We update some things. And for some reason, folks do not want any type of interpretation to the Second Amendment. They take that like real serious. A law-abiding citizen versus a criminal. We're comparing the law-abiding citizens to the criminals. Yes, criminals can get guns easier and all that kind of stuff. But when criminals shoot and do something, then they can get jammed up. If you are a law-abiding citizen and you discharge your weapon, you will, hopefully be protected by the law. So we can't have it both ways. If we're going to compare ourselves to the criminals, we just go by the whatever the procedure is. You went and you got your gun legally. You didn't say, the criminals don't have to go through this, so I'm not going to go through it. No, you went and got your gun legally, and you should. And I believe that folks should go to the gun range. I think that a lot of times people don't know how to shoot straight. A lot of the criminals don't shoot straight. They're hitting innocent bystanders, right? They need to have some training, right? They need to have some training. And, us law-abiding citizens, we need to go to the gun range. We need to be able to shoot straight. Somebody breaks in your house and you got a gun, but you don't know how to shoot straight. I mean, you had a detriment. You had a detriment. So we need, there's nothing wrong with the Second Amendment. I have no problem with folks having guns. I don't. Adults, trained adults to have guns. And an 18-year-old, in my opinion, is not an adult. It's not an adult. But this decision struck down a New York law requiring people to demonstrate a particular need for carrying a gun in order to get a license to carry in a concealed way in public. So this was something that in New York was difficult. As Kenneth Warren knows, it is very difficult because you got to prove, according to the law of your state, that you have a need to carry a gun. And a lot of folks have an issue with that part. The justices in the majority said that the requirement violates the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. So the majority believes that you should not have to demonstrate the need. You should just be able to carry the weapon. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. And I think, but here's the thing. I think that both sides could be happy here now, and that means taking and giving, right? So yes, I believe that you should have the right. Did you have the right to carry the gun? And if you're over 21, you should be able to have it, right? That's what I believe. I think 18 is too young. But what I'm trying to say makes too much sense. Both sides, Democrats, Republicans, are not going to want to agree on that. They're going to both want things their way. Gun rights, Second Amendment obsessed folks are going to say no restrictions, 18. They're going to say 16, 15, 13. We don't care. Everybody should have a gun. I'm saying adults who are trained, who have demonstrated that they can shoot the gun. So, I mean, are you saying that folks shouldn't have training? They should just automatically be able to get a gun even though they don't know how to use it? No, you need to demonstrate that you can use it, just like operating a motor vehicle. Prove that you can, go to some courses. Prove that you can shoot straight and be of the right age, and you should be able to get a gun, barring that, you don't have any, felonies and, nothing like that. Okay. Kenneth Warren says that I am at the range faithfully I am also a hunter. All right, that's what's up. And you need to be able to shoot straight. And I'm sure that you prefer folks that know how to shoot, right? It's like a disrespect if you have folks that can't operate their weapons. That's all I'm saying. Just tuning in as you man, Diamond K in here, the DiamondKShow.com, on fire-tv.com. For the last 16 years, the Baltimore Crown Awards has been connecting, developing, honoring, and promoting the Baltimore scene. Get your green clothes ready, formal, semi-formal, however you feel fly, because the 2022 Baltimore Crown Awards, it is an emerald party. What does that mean? The Baltimore scene is green. The nomination process is happening right now. This will determine the actual nominees for the Baltimore Crown Awards. Now, we need your input, so take a moment to visit thebaltimorescene.org. Tell them who should be honored at the 2022 ceremony. There are many great categories, from visual artists of the year to retail to makeup artists to movement of the year, and so many more. Let your voice be heard. The 16th annual Baltimore Crown Awards goes down Saturday, November the 19th at the Garage, 6 Lafayette Avenue in Baltimore, 21202. The Baltimore Crown Awards 16th annual event will be hosted by Desi Alexander. Tickets $20. As I said, thebaltimorescene.org, or you can text 443-248-2596. It's the Baltimore Crown Awards 2022. So we're talking about gun rights, and we're talking about the changes that have been made in shooting down the New York New York law. So the decision struck down this law that requires people to demonstrate a particular need for carrying a gun in order to get a carry and conceal license. So the judges said that the requirement violates the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote for the majority, and he said that the Constitution protects an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. That right is not a second-class right, Clarence Thomas wrote. We know of no other constitutional right that an individual may exercise only after demonstrating to government officers some special need. Now, here's the thing. I don't usually agree with Clarence Thomas, but I agree with him here. I agree here. And so California, Hawaii, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Maryland all have similar laws to New York's law. Those laws are expected to be quickly challenged. Things are about to change depending on where you live. Kenneth Warren says, I think 18 is too young to join the military. In the same token, also. Look, I agree with you. I agree with my fellow Marylander on these things. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul, Democrat of New York, said that the ruling came at a particularly painful time. We talked about these mass shootings that the country has recently experienced. New York is still mourning the death of 10 people shot at a supermarket in Buffalo, a racist murder that happened. And she says that the decision isn't just reckless, it's reprehensible. It's not what New Yorkers want, she said. I don't know. I think that the counter argument, obviously, is if you had more folks who were armed in that supermarket, that could have went another way. That's what the opposition is saying to Governor Kathy Hochul and folks who are against these decisions. Now, if you look at a state like Texas that has a very, very liberal when it comes to gun laws, that is an open carry state. That didn't prevent the murders from happening in that school. right? I guess the teachers weren't armed; they were kids. And then you had police there who were scared to do their jobs. So there are always going to be situations that you could point to and say, this law wouldn't have fixed that. That law wouldn't have fixed this. Nothing's going to be perfect. Gun control groups called the decision a significant setback. I don't know if it's a setback. Some folks are just resistant to change. Some people don't want things to change. They just like things the way that they are. And their excuse for something is just, well, it's always been like this. It's been like this for 50 years. This is a 50-year precedent. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. They just said, we've been doing it like this. Why we got to change? Sometimes change is necessary. We can point to a lot of things over history that was a certain way, and, we wanted things to change. Women's rights, minorities' rights, a lot of things have changed over the years. And when this country started, they were one way, and it changed to be something else now. Gun control groups said the decision is a significant setback. I don't agree that it's a setback. I don't agree that it's a setback. Now, Republican lawmakers were among those cheering the decision. I'm not a Republican. And I'm not angry with this decision. I'm not. Tom King, who is the president of the Plaintiff New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, said that he was relieved. He's relieved. The lawful and legal gun owner of New York State is no longer going to be persecuted by laws that have nothing to do with the safety of the people and will do nothing to make people safer. Let me read that statement again. This is Tom King, the president of the Plaintiff New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. The lawful and legal gun owner of New York State is no longer going to be persecuted by laws that have nothing to do with the safety of the people and will do nothing to make people safer, he said. And maybe now we're going to start going after criminals and perpetrators of these heinous acts. So that is the view that a lot of folks have that are happy about this. And Kenneth has a lot to say. The guy's manifesto in New York was horribly sickening. Absolutely. Kenneth Warren on Facebook, when you say something I disagree with, I'll let you know. But I agree with a lot of things that you are saying. So the court's decision is somewhat out of step with public opinion. Right now, most folks don't seem to think that this is the way to go, but this is what's happening. Why is this happening? This is happening because we have a conservative majority in the court. So you're going to see things like the abortion ruling that we're going to be talking about in the next segment. And you're going to see things like these changes to gun laws. And this is going to spark a lot of lawsuits and challenges to laws in several states, including Maryland. You're going to see it, as I said, California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and of course, New York. So half of the voters in the 2020 presidential elections said that gun laws in the United States should be more strict. But that is not what's happening. In addition, 1/3 said laws should be kept as they are, while only about 1 in 10 said that gun laws should be less strict. Well, less strict is exactly what is happening. The dissent, they lost, and that's what happens. Many Americans have good reason to fear that they will be victimized if they are unable to protect themselves. The Second Amendment guarantees their right to do so. That doesn't mean that they're going to be successful in protecting themselves, but you got a chance. You got a chance. You can get some training. You can get your gun if that's what you need to do. But understand this, times are changing, laws are changing, this country is changing. Now, understand this, Republicans and supporters of the Second Amendment, things are not going to always be the way you want them to go. Sometimes change is going to come the other way. And I don't want to hear no mess from you folks when change goes the other way. Change goes the other way. Flywire and TFP presents the 15th annual White Tie Affair. This is Baltimore's biggest and most celebrated event, Sunday, July the 24th, from 5 to 10 p.m. at Hammerjacks, the outdoor venue, 1300 Russell Street in Baltimore, 21230. After a 2-year wait, the party of the year returns with another exceptional, fun, and elegant red carpet cocktail reception. Music by DJ Kibi, DJ Tons, and Super DJ Big L. Tickets on sale right now. Hammerjacks.com. The attire is fly, sexy, all white. It's a white party. Venue is outdoors. So make sure that, ladies, you are wearing sneakers, sandals, wedges, flats. High heels are not recommended. You can wear those at your own risk. As I said, tickets on sale right now. Hammerjacks.com for Flywire and TFP's all-white affair. Looking forward to that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfire-tv.com. I am here weekdays, 6 p.m. onfiretv.com/join, onfiretv.com/support. Let me read one more comment here. Kenneth says that we all as Americans need to wake up and get the proper training that is needed to be able to carry a firearm. I agree. If folks want to, that is what they should do. Get the training and do it. I encourage people to do that. Get the training. The training is important. Training is super important. And, that's just what it is. That is just what it is. Of course, I'll be in the mix tomorrow, 12 noon. In the mix, Baltimore club music. I'm gonna be spinning some tunes, and definitely hit me up, djdiamondk@gmail.com. And we'll be back on the other side talking about abortion and all that comes with that. It's a complicated situation.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.